Hello, and welcome to the Compendium of Unnatural and Otherworldly Creatures, where we explore strange creatures that are not of this earth. Today we are discussing the creature known as the Ice-Pick Reinhare. They are a small species of reinhare, standing at about 4 feet tall when fully grown. This species is particularly well known for their distinctly pointed hooves, which they can stand on the tips of, giving them a unique tiptoe-like stance, and is the feature that gives them their name. They are also known for their relationship with a particular species of tree, called the pine mangrove. Both of these unique features we'll get to later. The Ice-Pick Reinhare spends their entire life on the ice. The northern regions of the planet that they hail from is mostly covered in a shallow to moderately deep sea, and the northernmost section of the sea is covered in perpetual ice. During the winter months, this ice spreads south, then retreats back north during the summer. The reinhare follow the ice as it grows and shrinks. Their mating season begins during the summer, when the ice is retreated to its smallest size. This is because their primary food source can only be accessed during the winter, when the ice is furthest south, and is the time of year that the reinhare are the most protected. Mating rituals include the males jumping high in the air and landing on the very tips of the hooves. The higher the jump, the more stable the landing, and the more appealing to the opposite sex they are. Healthy males make this display look effortless, but broken legs and hooves are a common consequence of these displays. Males also grow a long patch of fur on their rumps. During their leaps, the hair lifts up, revealing dark patches underneath, adding to the flashiness of these displays. Once the mating season has ended, the weather starts to grow colder, and the reinhare begin to migrate south, following the ice. It is during the peak of winter that the reinhare reach their primary food source, the pine mangroves. Pine mangroves are a type of evergreen tree that grows exclusively in the shallower northern seas. The range stops before the polar region, but they still prefer the cooler temperatures of the northern hemisphere. These trees grow roots that extend below the water and bury in the seafloor underneath, while the trunks remain above the water. Their vast, branching, umbrella-like roots provide habitat for hundreds of species of fish and other aquatic animals. During the winter, the surface of the water freezes, encasing the upper portion of the roots in ice. The bark of the pine mangroves is tough to withstand crushing ice. However, the roots are also flexible, so as to not splinter and break when drifting ice drags the tree. In fact, it is common for trees to become partially uprooted due to drifting ice. The trees can survive up to 60% of its roots being pulled from the ground. Once the ice melts, the roots will reattach to the ground. If more than 60% of the roots are pulled from the ground, the tree is at risk of being washed away once the ice melts. It's during the coldest, iciest season that the reinhare appear in the pine mangrove forests. Using their sharp teeth and antlers, the reinhare tear away the bark of the trees to access sap and tender wood underneath. The sap provides ample nutrients, plus sugar for energy. The soft wood underneath also provide more nutrients as well as fiber. During this time of year, the reinhare feast on the trees, give birth to their young, and find shelter from predators and winter weather amongst the trees. The cavities below the tree trunks but above the ice is an ideal shelter for the reinhare. While it might seem like this relationship between the reinhare and trees is one-sided, the reinhare actually provide a great benefit to both the trees and the surrounding ecosystem. Even though the reinhare are equipped to tear out tough tree bark, they are still selective in which trees they choose to eat. Thus, they tend to fell the weakest and sickest trees, leaving the strong, healthy ones behind. And, by felling the trees they eat from, the reinhare also help thin out the forests, which prevents overcrowding of the roots, which not only benefit the trees, but also provide space for the aquatic wildlife that lives amongst them. Once winter ends, the reinhare leave the pine mangrove forests and retreat back north. During the warm season, the reinhare persist by eating algae that grows in the ice. It's not much, but it gets them by. The algae is reached by the reinhare using their sharp hooves to chip away at the ice, eating the algae-riddled ice chunks, both for the nutrients and the water. And this brings us to their most defining feature, which I have neglected to talk about, their needle-sharp hooves and their distinct tiptoe stance. The reason for neglecting this topic is simply that we are not entirely sure the purpose of this feature. While they do use their sharp hooves to chip away at the ice, as previously discussed, this behavior doesn't seem to be a strong enough reason to explain the sharpness of the hooves and that tiptoe stance. However, we do have several theories to explain this. Number one, Being able to switch between a more regular flat-footed stance and the tiptoe stance allows the reindeer to better distribute their weight on the ice. Number 2, tapping the ice with their hoof tips can help them detect thin ice and avoid it. Number 3, during mating season, males can show off their strength by not only landing on their hoof tips during the jumps, but also by standing on their hoof tips the longest. And finally, number 4, lifting themselves up on their hoof tips keeps the bottom of their feet further away from the frigid ice. The final feature to note is the sharp spikes that grow from their front knees. These seem to be useful for gripping the ice when lying down, which provides some traction during intense storms. They have also been seen used as a way to anchor themselves to trees as they attempt to reach the most tender bark. And that is all that is known about the Ice-Pick Reinhare. They are a difficult species to observe. During the summer, one must brave thin, cracking ice to reach the herds. And during winter, one must survive harsh blizzards and find the herds as they flit amongst the pine mangrove forests. The black and white pattern on the fur help them blend in amongst the trees and blizzards. And after spending so much time on ice, you quickly begin to yearn for your own ice-pick hooves. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you again next time. Goodbye.